What's up guys, it's Michael Mays. In today's video we're going to be talking about how I adapted my dirt bike, answer some of the main questions I've been asked about it, and hopefully get you on your way to building your own dirt bike. Today with me I have my mechanic Jason, the guy that actually built the entire bike. So he's going to help me talk about it more in depth because I'm just a rider. I'm not much of a mechanic, never have been. But this guy is, and he helped me build not only my first bike, my second bike, and now here's my third one. So
that's it.
Welcome, Jason. One of the hardest things when building an adapted dirt bike is there's really not any information about it. So most of it was trial and error. This is, like I said, our third build, so it's getting a lot better.
I would say definitely get an electric start bike. Not only is it he can start it, we can start it, but then we have a power source to run the electric shifter on it too, so that makes it a lot nicer.
First thing you want to do when building an adapted dirt bike is
you got to get a bunch of 1-inch DOM tubing. There's probably about, I don't know, 30 feet of tubing in this build.
So that's 3 sticks.
Yeah, about 3 sticks total.
We always start up here, usually, right? First mount.
Yeah, usually sit you on the bike. Make sure we got leg clearance with this. Make sure, I guess your reach is perfect. That's probably the first thing I think we usually figure out. I'm probably gonna blow it out.
Getting the seat mounted, step one. On our first couple of builds, we had no seat shock or anything. It was just a regular go-kart seat mounted. But on this one, we decided to make our own seat shock system.
Yeah, so the first thing we did is we ordered a seat off, I think, Amazon or eBay or something. It's just a go-kart seat. It's like I think this one's like a 2XL. We got it quite a bit bigger because by the time we ended up adding like 2 inches of padding all the way around, the seat's got to be bigger than what you would normally fit in. And then on this one, if you can tell, we pretty much built a whole seat mount that wraps the bottom of the seat to the back, and it pretty much cups the whole seat. And then we mounted a couple heim joints that pretty much mount off the front subframe support. Then we had to kind of add a couple more gussets so it don't just rip off the little tiny bolts. And then since the seat is mounted to the swing arm that we built, the seat belts need to be mounted to it too, because if the seat belts are mounted to the frame, every time the seat goes up and down, it's obviously going to be pulling on his waist. So we did that. And then in the back over here, we've got a little Fox air shock off a mountain bike. We've mounted that on there. And then since they're on a mountain bike, they don't really have much up force on it. I thought it would have been a good idea to put a limiting strap on it too, since you got the whole weight of him yanking up on the seat every time he hits a bump.
For me, having a back seat shock has made the biggest difference. I have hardware in my spine, so I used to always be focused on hitting the jumps just right. Now I can under them or over them a little bit, and it doesn't really make a difference. You want to make sure you have the right amount of air in it though. It's pretty easy. I just put about 140 in it, and it's bottomed out on me a few times, but not too often.
Then you got to get him up on the bike and just kind of start figuring out where he's going to have clearance for all of his legs and everything like that. Then once we get that, the last two we've done, we've had this halo bar on the back. We usually make sure it's not too tall or too short. Yeah, and then on the first bike, we had just a couple plates that would hold this boot, but then we had like a Velcro strap. Now, the way I put these back ones and then this one up here on the toe, he pretty much just slaps his boot in there and no straps needed. They've never fell out yet, and as you can tell, he's taken quite a few falls, and out of all those, his foot's never fell out of the bike. So
And that's super nice because getting on and off takes a long time, especially when you're tired. You don't want to be sitting there messing with straps, on and off, tape, you know, remembering where they're at, and being able to just put your foot on there helps a lot. Next, I think we should talk about the shifter, how we got it installed. They don't make a shifter exactly for dirt bikes.
Yeah, they pretty much only make them for Harleys, I think, and quads. It's a universal pingle shifter. We got to make our own mount. And one of the things with the mount on this Honda, it pretty much comes off the motor bracket right here. And one thing I noticed in that whenever we were building it, whenever I built it, was you really have to make sure that this shifter swings freely in this little pivot mount right here. If not, it's just not going to shift right. So I got this all built here. Pivot's good here. We came to the stock shift lever down here. Took off the little toe piece and made our own bracket to go to it. It ends up working out pretty good.
In the back, we have a kill switch.
Yeah, so every time he gets on the bike, he pretty much has to flick the switch on to activate power to the shifter. Then you got to come over here. You got his buttons on his handlebars, and then you got to activate it by holding either button for, I think it's like 5 seconds. So after that's been done, you pretty much just got upshift and downshift. One of the other things we had to figure out too was a rear brake. So what we did was we reached out to aux brake, and they gave us this adapter right here that gave us a lever, and it runs a cable all the way to the rear master cylinder over here. So pretty much that cable's connecting, and it's going right to the factory foot lever.
And you also want to make sure you have yourself a good seatbelt. It's important to have a good seatbelt because you don't want to get sores and whatnot on your hips, and you want to be firmly mounted to your bike at all times. I'm constantly pulling this thing tight to make sure that I'm solidly mounted to the bike. That's, for me, the best security feeling is being tight.
So I guess one of the next things we'll show you is how he gets on and off the bike.
How do you want the bars? Get up real quick.
Do it on the stand? Why not?
You've done it before at the shop. See if he's eating his Wheaties this morning. I'm not even gonna help him. This is all him. Alright. And you gotta figure too, this bike's about another 8 inches higher than it normally is right now, but
That's it. Throw your seatbelt on. And you're ready to rip.
and when he falls, he obviously can't pick himself up. He's gonna sit there and wait for someone to pick him up. Where the stretches come into play?
Yeah, stretching is definitely key. If your PT never told you, definitely stretch. That's it. It's how you build a dirt bike, get on and off of it, and ride it. Thank you guys.
Yes, sir, dude.
And that's all the basics about this bike build. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our social medias. Mine's at Michael Mays 727.
And mine's at Show Off Customs.
Thanks for stopping by, guys. Please like and subscribe to see more builds.